So, have you ever thought about the pace of your own life? What if it's not just, a personal preference, but a choice? A choice that actually determines if you're going to lead the pack or get left in the dust. That's the big idea we're diving into today, from a piece called The Velocity of Giants. And trust me, it really makes you think about a massive decision we all have to face.
Right out of the gate, this piece doesn't mess around. It hits you with this line. And think about that for a second. It's not just about missing a deadline here and there. No, it's about falling so far behind you're not even in the race anymore. Once you're back there, you're not just late, you're playing a totally different and much harder game.
So this really brings up a super important question, and I want you to be honest with yourself here. Think about the race you're running, your career, your personal projects, your ambitions, whatever it is. Are you actually keeping up?
But why is this so critical, like right now? Well, to get that, we need to look at the world we're all operating in. Let's talk about what we're calling the pace of now.
Now, the original article points specifically to the fast-moving tech environment. But come on, let's be real. That's basically everywhere now, right? Change is just constant, and it feels like it's getting faster every single day. The thing that was revolutionary yesterday, it's just normal today. And tomorrow, it's probably going to be obsolete. That's the playground we're all in.
And because everything's moving so ridiculously fast, we're all facing what this piece calls a fundamental choice. And this is key. It's not about your circumstances or where you come from. It's all about your mindset. It's about the decision you make on how you're going to deal with this new reality.
And this is the part you really got to hear. This choice, it isn't something that just happens to you. Nope, it's an active, conscious decision you have to make. You can't just float along and hope for the best. At some point, everyone is forced to pick a lane.
Okay, so what are these choices? The article breaks it down into two clear paths. On one hand, you've got what it calls the giant's game. This is the path for the people who innovate, the ones who lead. And on the other hand, you have the follower's way. That's the path for people who follow along.
All right, let's really dig into these two paths, shall we? Playing the giant's game versus walking the follower's way. I mean, these are just completely different ways to live and work in the world today.
So if you decide to play the giant's game, you got to know the rules are tough. They are absolutely non-negotiable. First, it demands crazy speed, just to keep up, let alone get ahead. It also requires this laser-like focus so you can shut out all the noise and just get things done. And it means you have to live right there on the cutting edge, where the new stuff is being built, where the future is literally being written.
Okay, but what about the other option? The path of the follower. And look, the article makes it clear, this is a totally valid choice. You can be more carefree, right? Less stressed out by all that pressure to constantly innovate. You get to follow trends instead of having to create them. And you can choose to stay, and I'm quoting here, ignorant of that super high-stakes game the giants are all playing. It's just a different way to live. So, we've laid out the context, we've looked at the two very different paths, and what it all boils down to is one simple thing: your choice. Your own personal power to decide.
In the end, it really does come down to these four simple words. Nobody else can make this call for you. And it's not about one path being right and the other being wrong. Not at all. It's about what you consciously, actively choose for yourself. The power is 100% in your hands.
And so that leaves us with one last big, unavoidable question. You've seen the two paths, you know how fast the world is moving, and you know that sooner or later a decision has to be made. So, who are you going to be tomorrow?